Hello and welcome to the third part of my four-part series where I cover the four major regions and the off-season to-do list for the non-playoff teams. Obviously, there are teams already out of the playoffs, which I'm not including in this. Those videos for the teams that did make the playoffs will be after MSI, depending on how my video schedule shakes out. I think that's how I'm going to end up doing it. So I always have content every day. But if you didn't catch the other two videos, what I did was I took the teams, wrote down the roles, and looked through Academy, or in this case, EU Masters at the respective Academy rosters, and tried to determine where they could improve within their roster to become a playoff team in summer. In the case of the LPL, when I did the LPL on Monday, they didn't have an Academy roster for me to go over. Obviously, there were no LDL stats available. If they played, they weren't available. So I kind of had to wing it in that video. But yesterday's in the LCK, we had Challenger to look at, which is good. And in this case, we have EU Masters. So I'm going to start with Astralis. Astralis, if you watch my videos this year, I have been hard on Astralis. I thought Astralis was downright awful, and I really never looked as closely as I did just today to do this video at just how screwed up this roster is. All split long, I said they need to drop Promise Q. Advian had just been dropped by XL. I'm like, you might as well pick up Advian. He's right there. Why not? They never do. And looking at their roster, they've already dropped Promise Q and White Knight. That's fine. When I looked at this roster, I was shocked by how old the team is. The team is not young. It's not. It's on the wrong side of 25 in all four of the five roles. That's ridiculous. For a team that's 10th place, that is ridiculous. That is the opposite of what I want this team to do and what it's done for the most part. Astralis is like a poor version of Red Force that I went over yesterday, like a really poor version. You're so old and you are sticking with these players. Sure, Zanzara might have some charisma or whatever, and he seems to help the team off the rift and things like that. But this is not good. Kabe has seen better days. There are so many solid 80 carries. Even I'd argue Chris Berg is a better 80 carry than Kabe right now and deserves a shot from their Academy roster. Their Academy roster elsewhere is not very good. There are so many EU Masters teams. There's so many 80 carries. If they want to spend money, they can be better. Outright, they can be better. But they will have to spend money because their Academy roster is not very good. They are not good. Dajor, I want to keep. Dajor had his moments this past split. He's young and raw. Give him another opportunity with a roster that is not literally a retirement home for players that arguably were, what were their highs, really? Kabe had highs, but what were Zanzra and White Knight's highs? Come on, let's be real here. So, they are not in a good place. Organizationally, whoever built this roster is the reason why they are. I think their coach left. If their coach built this roster, good. Good that he's gone. 9th place, BDS. So Syncroft is older, and in the same breath, you'd think I should be treating him like I am Zanzara, but Syncroft did very well in spring. He got this team out to leads, and they just blew it time and time again. So I want to keep him. I want to keep the top side of the rift. I want to swap out bot lane. X-Matty is young, but Crowny is, I think, better than X-Matty. I think Crowny should be up with the main roster. And Uradat or Erodi, I don't know how to say his name. They have the support with Crowny. I know Crowny played with Limit, and even maybe I'll give you that you want to play Crowny and Limit to start the split, see what happens, because they have chemistry from playing before. Fine. Comfort, fine. I think they should look at swapping out Limit, though. I think the academy support is more than capable. I think they should be looking elsewhere. I mean, I think this team, actually, more I think about it, when I went over Mad Lions are deep at the support position. They have Torre and Lilip. Australia should be knocking down their door for support. I don't know why they're not. So, or Advian, who isn't very young, I guess, but still. BDS, that's what I think they should do. They need to swap out the bot lane and see if they can grow with the top lane. Adam is a I don't want to say he's toxic. I'm not getting even comment on drama or whatever. But he has the ability to be 1v9, and I think sometimes he does play that way, and the team is not on board with it. But he's young, Nuclear Int, young. I think BDS needs to, make a couple moves and just see what happens with these young players in development. Fresh team in the LEC, so we'll see what comes of that. SK, I think Gilius is the main issue with this team. Gilius is older. I think he isn't performing very well. His CS numbers were awful. His kill participation wasn't reflective of the fact that his CS numbers were awful, as in, like, are you ganking all the time or doing whatever. And Gen X looked okay. Treats is older, but Treats, I think, is one of the better supports in the LEC. And I think he's a stabilizing force. I think keeping him and then bringing up Ekis, I'm going to say Ekas, not Ekas, Ekis, as the jungler. I believe he led. He was really high up in CS numbers. He very, very good jungler in terms of clearing and doing what he has to do and getting leads. I think they should put him in and see what happens. Certus is young. Let him go. Gen X was solid. Jezu, I think, needs to go, to be honest with you. And I think there are just so many good bot laners in the LEC's Academy regional system, in EU Masters. There's just so many. I looked and I was like, wow, there could be, there are 5 or 6 AD carries just looking at this one region. I think it was the LFL. Obviously, we got Reckless and even Cody's son. But you're looking at it, you're saying to yourself, why are these guys not up? Why isn't Woolet up? Why isn't, all these, they should be in the LEC over a guy like Jezu or Kabe. Crowny should be in over X-Matty. That sort of stuff needs to happen. I think the AD carry position is the one that needs to see a lot of change with these 4 teams. Mad Lions being the only one I don't have swapping out 80 carries. And I think the jungler role within their own academy system is a way where they can easily create some wins for SK. Because I think 6th place XL, I think Mickey X is solid, but I think XL has issues. I think Misfits could have issues. And that's important to consider as a team in the bottom 4. You have room to get there. Mad Lions, for example. Mad Lions fall from grace. It just shows how much they lost letting Humanoid go and going with Reeker. And I looked at Reeker's numbers last year, and I know he was on Big, but even though Mad Lions Academy team did not do that well this spring, Niter needs, I don't want to say needs, because Reeker is young too. So this is his first split. He probably deserves a longer look. But I think he should be on a short leash. I think Niter looked very well in Academy, in EU Masters. And honestly, I think he might be the upgrade they need. I'll split long if you watched my LEC power rankings. Like I said, I was always on top of Astralis with their support situation, and I was always saying Mad Lions are being held back by Reeker. Reeker, outside of a couple Yasuo plays and a couple Victor plays, he was not very good this spring. And I think he is what was holding them back. And I think him holding them back held back Unforgiven. I think it held back Armut. I think Armut struggled at times, but he has a really high ceiling that I want to see if they have a more capable mid laner. And Kaiser, I think, may be the best support in, Hilly played really well, but Kaiser might be like the second or third best support in the LEC. So, like, they have the pieces to be a playoff team, just need to fix the mid lane. And if they fix the mid lane, I mean, heck, this team is a top 4 team. This team is really uber competitive, like it has been in the past. But that is what, I mean, and anybody could see that. Anybody could see that's what's holding them back, because Humanoid goes and all of a sudden the team tanks. And like I said, it might not be fair to Reeker, because Reeker is young and raw, but I mean, that was the issue, so that's what you have to solve, or you ride it out. I mean, there is a case to ride it out, especially because the academy team didn't do that well, and I mean, Reeker is still a rookie, pretty much. So, I mean, that's kind of how I look at the Mad Lion situation right now. This is kind of how I look at the 4 LEC teams that didn't make the playoffs. If you have any comments, comment down below on your opinion on how these 4 teams look going in the offseason, what they might have to do to fix it. Like and subscribe if you enjoy this sort of content. Catch the LCK video that came out the day yesterday. LPL on Monday. LCS comes out tomorrow. My League of Legends Roundup will be coming back when games return. I don't know if the LPL comes back tomorrow or Friday, but stay tuned for that. And thank you for watching this video.